the former summer house girl is a homewrecker. Yes, Lindsay's former BFF. The guy she's with, and she finally posted his face because before that it was just his arm, etc. He's my friend's husband and they've been having an affair. She has known that he's been married since they started in the spring. He's Irish and is in the hospitality industry. Her friend and the husband are now getting divorced since the summer house alum loves to splatter her life all over social media, and we found out through that. Biggest pick-me energy I've seen in my life, and she's almost 40.
Welcome to Cocktails and Gossip, the podcast where we drink cocktails, but you better believe we're going to spill the tea. We chat reality TV, celebrity blinds, and the hottest tea from BravoandCocktails.com. And as always, it's all alleged and just for fun. We do not verify our blinds. I'm B.
And I'm Amanda. Let's get into this week's tea.
What's up, cocktailers? Hi, Amanda.
Hi, B. Hi, cocktailers.
So I just wanted to take a moment at the top of the pod to clarify some stuff that I said last week when discussing Emily. We were speaking about her son's autism and how I felt it was her storyline being, her picking that for a storyline. A lot of you guys gave us feedback and you were all very kind in giving it. I wanted to just share an email that somebody sent because it really resonated and it made sense, whether, you're a professional who works with children on the spectrum or a parent. It made sense to me and I wanted to share it. So this person who didn't want me to say their name said, "Hey, I'm listening to your podcast as I do weekly. I respect you and Amanda and align with you often, but you're getting the autism storyline wrong. Autism does not always occur with developmental delays. There are two different issues. Some individuals have autism and some do not. All people develop differently, and an autism diagnosis is not necessarily made because of delays. They can be a factor, though. I'm no expert, but I'm the mom of two children with autism. One was diagnosed relatively early at 5 and had some behavioral and speech delay. My second child was recently diagnosed at 9. Even having gone through it once, I didn't see as many signs with my second. I think it's part of why I appreciate Emily sharing this. I also disagree with the idea that the school would see it. I believe they go to private schools with minimal disciplinary issues. The school will try their best to hang on to the paying student. The issue, right? That made a lot of sense.
That makes sense.
The issue is very layered and complex. Many high-functioning individuals get diagnosed later. The statistics also show that females are less likely to be diagnosed or diagnosed later in life. This is why it's called an invisible disability. I don't mean to offend, but your comments were very ill-informed, but understandable. I would maybe have felt the same if I hadn't walked this path in motherhood. It's really just the tip of the iceberg of what autism is. It's complex, confusing, and many parents feel the guilt of missing it. So she went on to say, she likes our pod. So I wanted to share that, and I also wanted to, of course, apologize. Sometimes I go on a tangent. Clearly, I was wrong and misinformed here, and my apologize to all of you guys.
And I think that was a really kind and thoughtful note from that cocktailer. And I so appreciate that tone because, this, you and I are both people who we're open and we're listening. And that's a great way to continue the conversation without making it a name-calling situation, which so often happens on social media, especially, or in any kind of situation where people can send stuff pretty much anonymously. So thank you.
Well, and it is a very complex conversation. And I think my point is I allowed my feelings on Emily, which are that I just feel in a general way she's grasping to hang on to the show, which doesn't necessarily have anything to do with her storyline. I think also it's Shane's reluctance to discuss it on camera that makes me feel like, why is she talking about this?
Yeah.
In any event, I did not word it properly. I did not get the point across properly, and I do apologize.
Yeah. And thank you again to that cocktailer for sending in that thoughtful note. B, I've got to know how your vacation is.
Oh my God. It's been a very chaotic, rough couple of weeks. This beach is so needed. Guys, go to Negril. You guys know my sister-in-law is Jamaican. We are staying, and I'll say it because I'll be gone by the time I leave. We're staying at a place called the Skylark. It's a pretty cool, well-known boutique hotel. You know, when my kids were little, I felt very inclined to do all-inclusive. It's just easier with meals and everything. But
yeah, let them get all of the pina coladas they want. I mean,
right.
virgin pina coladas, guys, don't.
But even like breakfast, right? Like if you're in a hotel, you're going to spend $20 on breakfast for your kid not to touch it. When you're at an all-inclusive, they can just run up and grab a banana, whatever.
Yeah.
But school-age kids, that kind of stuff becomes easier. So they have this very well-known restaurant. It's called Lily's. They actually have one in Manhattan, too. Leah McSweeney actually stayed here back when she was on RHONJ, which is when I first heard of it. And I would always tell my sister-in-law, like, oh, you know, once the kids are a little bit bigger, let's stay at Skylark. They also have one called the Rock Hotel. That one is adults only. It's called the Rock House, and it's like on a cliff, which I would prefer to be on the beach, but we can go there for dinner even with the kids, which it's awesome. Amanda, you want to die laughing?
Always.
They do these photo shoots here. Do you remember like Angie K comes to mind where they have that dress that like blows in the wind, but it's like, yeah, it's like a huge long sheet. Yeah. Okay. So they do that. And then they do one where it's like, I would call it a raft. It's like a clear, like acrylic. So you can see the water, and a drone takes pictures of you laying on this thing.
Oh, fun.
Guess whose sister-in-law? Yeah, guess whose sister-in-law booked us? She got us. I'm like, I am a middle-aged woman. What am I? But she's into it. She says we got to do it. So after this, I'm going down and taking my drone pictures.
Glamour shots. Oh my God, I got them.
Do you remember glamour shots? Did you ever get them when you were a kid?
I think I missed the window, or my mom thought it was stupid. I can't remember. But yes, I mean, I think it was like, I think I was a little too young. I think I kind of missed the heyday. But I mean, if anybody who was born in the late 70s, early 80s will remember.
Yeah.
Because it was a place, for those of you guys who don't know, it was a place you could go in the mall. So there are two things that you could do in the mall that like absolutely do not exist anymore. Glamour shots, where you could go and then like you would wear all of their clothing. They would do your hair and makeup, and then you would get a lot of pictures of like you putting your hand under your chin and posing. And generally it was like sparkly jackets and very quote unquote 80s glamour looks. The other thing you could do in the mall is you could go and make a music video and record a song.
That I did, but I actually did that at like an amusement park.
Oh, see, perfect place for that as well.
I actually didn't do glamour shots. I remember my mother being like, that's too expensive. That's ridiculous. Yeah. I could take pictures of you at home.
I think at the time it was like, I want to say it was like $80 or $90, which is a lot of money.
Yes.
Back then. Well, yeah, I'm just going to need to see these pictures. Maybe we could figure out a way to share one with the cocktailers, like with your heads covered or something.
Yeah, we have to. It's going to be ridiculous.
I need to see it. I actually was telling B before we got onto the pod, I looked up that hotel that they're staying at, and it looks pretty awesome. I've never been to Jamaica, so
should be illegal.
I know. It's a little further for me, which is why I go to Mexico a lot. Okay, our usual gossip. Let's get back to it. We've got some good Valley intel, so let's start there.
I'm not sure if you saw this guy's emails coming in, because I think he just emailed Bravo and Cocktails at Gmail. I don't think he did it through the website.
He didn't.
So,
yeah.
I get some guy, and he's like, have you seen this? It's all over Reddit. It was, I don't even remember the guy's name, but it was a thread that this random person who has no affiliation with anyone on the cast was going to be on the Valley. So, I looked into it. I asked around. Not going to be on the Valley. And then the guy emails me again. He's like, hey, when will this be live on the site? I said, never. It's not true. But thank you, because I asked around and I do have who's going to be on. So I found this very interesting. We're confirming. And first of all, I was told everyone is full-time, whatever that means. So like nobody is considered like just cameo appearances, I guess.
Oh, okay.
So from Vanderpump Rules, obviously Kristen and Brittany are back, but Sheena, Brock, Lala, and Schwartz will be on. Sandoval will not. They had zero interest in him.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah. Thank sweet baby Jay. The Bravo has been listening to us. I feel like Schwartz is that guy who can kind of come in and it's kind of interesting because he doesn't have a couple alliance, you know what I mean? So he can kind of stay out of the fray with the girls. And Lala kind of the same, right? Like, I don't think she will stay out of the fray with the guys.
Schwartz is the male millennial Dolores.
Yeah.
Put him in anywhere. He can fit.
And it's true. I mean, they put him on Summer House and he does, so I could see that. I could not see Sandoval. I just don't think personal feelings about him aside, knowing his lifestyle, knowing what he and his girlfriend do, it doesn't feel like a fit. And I also feel like if he were to go on, all the Scandival stuff would still follow him, even though it's years later. So I think that makes sense. I do think it's funny that he put that whole show on at Jax's bar with his band in order to try to get on the show. But
yes, agree.
Foiled again.
So that's our Valley update. I want to say filming soon. I don't think cameras are officially up, but like any minute now.
Any minute, yeah, because we know now that the babies are born. And yeah, speaking of social media, we saw all over social media pictures of Paige serving a pink feathered mini dress. It's a look. And filming The Devil Wears Prada too.
I feel like a proud auntie. She is such an it girl. She is everywhere. She is doing big things. She is a modern day Bethany Frankel, if you will. I don't think we've seen like the success from an ensemble cast. Well, Ariana.
Yeah.
And Paige and Bethany.
Yeah.
Like I can't think of somebody. And of course, Luann. I mean, so many of them have had their successes over the years.
Right.
Most of them have in a variety of lanes. But Paige is just like everywhere.
On another level. I agree.
But on some more juicy news, a lot of you guys were sending me screenshots. So Paige had an Instagram story of her sitting at the Kith fashion show. And her boyfriend, we're going to call him her boyfriend because the guy who we exclusively posted a video of them at a football game when her and Craig first announced their breakup. We know they had actually broken up a few weeks prior. So this is guy, Joe D'Amelio, vice president of Clutch Sports, like wealthy, powerful guy. His Instagram was private. I assume he went private once that video went viral. Well, his Instagram is public again. He had the same exact Instagram story, and then somebody had a different angle, and it was going around the internet that they were seated next to each other. I just, that crazy ex-fiance that claimed that Paige was in his DMs, and then Paige, she's been saying she's single. But this guy and her were at a game together in, what was that, January, I want to say? Beginning of January?
Yeah.
And we're in August. So either they hung out a few times, didn't talk, do more.
They were in Italy too.
Yes.
Yeah.
If you're dealing with hair issues, like thinning or shedding, but feel totally stuck on what to try next, I get it. There are so many products out there, and it's hard to know which ones are actually going to do anything. That is exactly why I gave Nutrafol a closer look. It's not just hype. It's physician-formulated, clinically tested, and even recommended by dermatologists. Nutrafol is the #1 dermatologist-recommended hair growth supplement brand, trusted by over 1.5 million people. You can feel great about what you're putting into your body since Nutrafol hair growth supplements are backed by peer-reviewed studies and NSF content certified, the gold standard in third-party certification for supplements. While many supplements rely solely on ingredient studies, Nutrafol clinically tests final formulations to ensure their efficacy using a variety of hair measurement tools like hair counts and pull tests to assess growth, quality, shedding, and texture. See thicker, stronger, faster-growing hair with less shedding in just 3 to 6 months with Nutrafol. For a limited time, Nutrafol is offering our listeners $10 off your first month subscription and free shipping when you go to Nutrafol.com and enter the promo code GOSSIP Find out why Nutrafol is the best-selling hair growth supplement brand at Nutrafol.com, spelled Nutrafol.com. Promo code GOSSIP. That's Nutrafol.com, promo code GOSSIP.
I mean, do your thing, Paige. But I mean, we all know you're dating. It's okay.
Yeah, it can come out now.
No judgments.
Agreed.
We gossip and we don't judge.
We sure don't.
Okay, so speaking of breakups.
Holy shit, this was explosive, by the way. And I'm still waiting for follow-up on this.
Yeah.
And if you're not a cocktailer, you don't know about this. And let me tell you, it was an exciting time in the DMs yesterday and on Discord.
Yeah. Okay. So we got this email. It's pretty shocking.
Is it?
Everything's alleged. If it's true, I'm sure there will be more receipts forthcoming. So it says from She's a Mess, subject, Summer House Homewrecker. It says, the former Summer House girl is a homewrecker. Yes, Lindsay's former BFF. The guy she's with, and she finally posted his face because before that, it was just his arm, etc. He's my friend's husband, and they've been having an affair. She has known that he's been married since they started in the spring. He's Irish and is in the hospitality industry. Her friend and the husband are now getting divorced since the Summer House alum loves to splatter her life all over social media. And we found out through that. Biggest pick-me energy I've seen in my life, and she's almost 40.
Okay, so first thing, a lot of the cocktailers, first thing they DM'd me was, I feel bad for her. That was like everyone's knee-jerk reaction.
For the friend or for the ex-Summer House girl?
Well, of course for the friend, but for the ex-Summer House girl. Now, we're like normies. Imagine being a normie and finding out your husband's cheating on you because he's cheating on you with a reality television personality.
Awful.
And okay, and here's the other thing. There's such a gray area. Like, I have never in my life met anyone who was like, oh, I met my boyfriend or husband because he was married, but I didn't give a shit. And I just banged him anyway, and he left his wife for me. Like, nobody says that, right? It's always like we see it with Galena and Steve McBee, right? It's always like, well, he told me they were separated. So I'm willing to bet at some point, listen, she's not currently on a show. So if she's smart, she just avoids commenting at all and lets people think what they will. But I would imagine it's a situation where she met this guy and the guy told her either truthfully him and the wife maybe were separated, or told her that they were getting separated or whatever, and she quietly dated him. Because the other thing is she does splatter her life. So her whole not showing his face and everything was already like...
Yeah. I mean, there's the soft launch and the hard launch, right? And it is, though, with her, to your point, as somebody who does share so much of her life, it is questionable that, and almost worse that she was sharing like his arm and things like that, like knowing that he was married. Because, I've seen it happen a lot where guy, whatever, says that he's going through a divorce or getting divorced or separated, and he's actually not. And then the girl finds out, oh, wait, he's actually not. But then, like, that's when you step away, right? So yes. you can't blame her if she didn't know, but you can blame her if she stayed. I just think that's an ick, and that is cheating or knowingly being with somebody who is cheating.
And for all we know, she could be finding out on bravoandcocktails.com and being like, oh my God, I'm out. We don't know. I would hope that that's the case if she didn't know.
But yeah, okay, so there's the door. It's time to walk, if that's the case.
Oh, I didn't even check her Insta stories yesterday. Oh, because she posts a lot. So
no, I don't follow her anymore.
My thing, what's so funny? I almost unfollowed her, but she's so corny that like she does give good material. Oh no, okay, she's posting. There she is walking in a pretty outfit, and she is gorgeous, and
she is really pretty.
I guess what I don't understand about women in this situation, because ultimately she's a very bright girl, right? Whatever he told her and whatever it is, like she now has all of the information. So she will be able to distinguish whether or not he was lying to her, right? Regardless of what she knew or didn't know. Let's say she's an innocent in it. But women that choose to stay with men when they find out these sort of things, because there are situations where men date other women and then the women find out they're married and then they stay with them, right? How could you ever be with somebody if that's how you got together with them? Wouldn't you always be looking over your shoulder at who he's going to leave you for?
I mean, I personally absolutely would. That is why I think, I do think the way a relationship starts is so important, and it does set the tone for the way your relationship can continue. I mean, I guess it doesn't always, but it's,
As my girl Wendy used to say, how you get them is how you lose them.
yeah.
Or
Yeah.
how you get them is how you keep them. It was one of those.
Yeah. I think it's
So
how you get them is how you lose them. Okay. So I know we're kind of all over the place, but there's all kinds of great information coming in this week. So regarding the OC, we had shared some intel about some OGs. Remember, we talked about this last week. OGs joining because it's going to be the 20th season. So we got some clarification on that I think is good news. So it says, regarding the Orange County coverage on the pod this week, just to add more context, I heard that the legacy housewives for season 20 would appear in more of a cameo type role, not even friend of. But this is all very early. Ideas are being thrown around. That's just the latest. I think it's safe to say we will see familiar faces next season, even if to just pop in and say hi. Vicky might be the one who gets an expanded role, if any do. She's willing to work basically for free. She wants back on, and she is the OG of the OC. Let them pay you, Vicky. My God. Sorry, it's just me saying this, but pay her, Bravo.
Especially when we saw her fly and save on, I want to say Southwest. And she couldn't change her flight because she did the saver option. Listen to me. I'm joking. I am a person. One thing I have agreed with Bethany about was she did a story the other day. People are like, why don't you fly private? Why'd you take JetBlue? I am not bougie. And if I had a ton of money, I certainly, listen, if you could afford to fly first class on a long trip, but if you're going to Florida or you're going on a 2-hour stint, why would you pay more than whatever the rate is normally? So you're sitting in a chair for 2 hours.
I have been a big Southwest person for years and years. We'll see now that they're changing everything, if that will stay the case. But like, it's so great when you're like doing a kid tournament and you're flying, like the kids could go sit next to each other. You didn't have to worry about it. It was so easy. Anyway, Southwest is not a sponsor of this podcast.
Not yet.
Not yet. So it says, the person goes on to say, Vicky's Bravo appearance makes that person think Bravo is opening the door for Vicky to come on. And then it says Gina Keogh is the name they specifically heard was being discussed for a cameo.
So here's the thing with OC, and maybe we get it from Jem Pedantry, and we're going to get to what I'm talking about and how that storyline could be fresher. A lot of people want Gretchen's friends. So it's interesting they brought Gretchen on. Gretchen has this whole crew of friends, and I can't think of their names, but they're these like truly wealthy women that live in Orange County. None of them are interested in filming.
Yeah.
So they have Gretchen. I'm hearing that whatever goes down between Gretchen and Heather, and I don't think it's straight political, and we don't talk politics here, but we know that many of those OC housewives are Republicans. So for it to just be a political thing between her and Heather doesn't make much sense when Heather clearly maintains friendships with other people. So I think it's going to be related to LGBTQ plus, and maybe something Gretchen had reposted or liked that she kind of like. I don't think she goes to Heather and like says anything, but I think Heather's like, wait a minute, did you repost this? And like, you kind of can't deny it if you did. So I think that may be the end of Gretchen. So far, I'm not that interested in her. I don't know. Do we move to San Diego? Do we move to San Francisco? Do we get a new vibrant city, new interesting women, wrap it up after 20 years? I don't know.
Yeah. I kind of felt like last week that if all these OGs come back and for season 20, it really could be the kind of sign of death for the show. I agree. I mean, San Francisco, we've heard there has been some filming in, the Bay Area here and there. So maybe it is something that they've been looking at. I do much prefer more of a cameo situation. I mean, of course, I don't know how they would do this with the fourth wall, but having all the OGs come to a party, or maybe they do a special. I think a special would actually be absolutely perfect to commemorate 20. But I did a little research on the Gretchen and Heather fight. I think that you might be right. I found an article on Reality Tea that shows that Gretchen liked some posts that I'm sure Heather would have issues with. One is an anti-transgender post, and one is a post saying that opening the door to homosexuality is opening the door to pedophilia. Like, what? Yes. Yeah. Pretty problematic in my mind. And you guys know Heather and Terry Dubrow have 4 children, 2 of which are not straight. 1 is transgender. So if Gretchen's likes on social media are any indication of how she feels about these topics, I'm guessing there was a fight about this. But
yeah,
I'm
sure. I'm sure.
But we got some more OC intel.
Yes. Okay. So somebody, little birdie, shared with me. They were like, hey, B, please pay attention to Tamara and how she keeps posting her friend Heather Amin. So the person clarified by saying, for accuracy, I'm not sure if Ryan, Jen Pedantry's fiance, and Heather Amin officially dated, but they have history. He 100% did send the infamous dick pic to her. There's still a question of it was intended for his ex-wife, who's also named Heather, or Heather Amin. So this person says, I think Tamara is angling to get Heather Amin on the show as an ally next season. If you recall, she was mentioned a few times when Jen P joined, like a couple seasons ago, and she might have filmed. I kind of forget, as does this person, but her name was definitely mentioned. And now that Tamara's on an island, it's looking more likely. So if we bring this woman on, it bites Tamara in the ass because we're now focusing more on Jen Pedantry, which makes Tamara very jealous. I do think that Tamara pledges allegiance to the show and her employment, and that's probably what makes sense on something that feels pretty stale.
Yeah. So anytime we see somebody who's been in the kind of outskirts, but we've seen a little bit here and there on the show, and that they don't have more of a role, I have a little bit of a prejudice against them because I just think like producers must not have thought they were interesting enough to give them more of a role.
I hear you.
So we'll see. And Heather, I mean, did film because I remembered that whole situation because she's the one who got the flaccid dick pic.
But in this case, I normally would agree with you. But in this case, I do feel like if I remember correctly, it was kind of between Jen and Heather. And very clearly, Jen had a lot going on. So if they were picking one, Heather could have also been great and just didn't have the messy family life to show like Jen did. And so that kind of made the decision. And maybe this is also when Tamara came back. Maybe they didn't want Tamara to have such a strong ally at that point because she still had Shannon and Vicky in some capacity. Like things have changed. So yes, that's a point that we have to take into consideration when we meet Heather, but it could also just be that the timing wasn't right. And now
or she didn't want to because that,
right.
I can see that being a very realistic reason. But yeah, that episode where Emily had that pool party with the slip and slide at her parents' house or her aunt's house, that was the episode that Heather was on.
That's it. Now I remember. Yeah. I kind of like remember them sitting on lounge chairs and like talking about the dick pic.
Yeah. Yes.
So in some funny news, Galena from the McBee dynasty was pictured celebrating Alexis Bellino's upcoming nuptials. I'm not sure if it was a shower or just some boutique-sponsored event where Alexis wore white. I think we're going to see Alexis celebrate. By the way, there are these random Facebook accounts that have AI, and they just, I don't know, make stuff up. And so none of those accounts said that Alexis and John Jansen had called off their wedding. It was never true. I got so many questions about it, and I would just keep saying, this isn't true, this isn't true. So it's not true. They're obviously starting the nuptial celebrations. And Galena from McBee Dynasty is there because her and Alexis have the same publicist.
I mean, I so first quickly about the AI thing. I don't go on Facebook, but I've seen Tamara repost a lot of them, and they're very like wild, unbelievable, like very you can pretty much immediately sniff out that they're not real. And I'm glad actually that people are coming to you to be like, is this true? Because you know your shit. I Everyone says AI is coming for all of us, but I don't think AI knows how to gossip yet.
No.
Um, the Galena thing though, when I was looking at the pictures, I was like, is that Galena? Like it was shocking to me that she was there. Because I mean, talk about those worlds don't collide. But then once you said that they have the same publicist, I'm like, oh, okay, that makes sense. And I mean, RLX, when is this wedding happening? It feels like it's been the longest engagement ever. It's got to be soon, right?
September, I want to say, like it's coming.
Yeah.
Yeah, September, October, fall. I don't remember exactly because I care so little about them.
I know. Can we just get it over with?
But no, it's a full wedding. They went with the less expensive venue. Still a beautiful venue, guys. But
Yeah.
I got to get my shade in there. Yeah.
So speaking of Galena, this week's episode of McBee Dynasty, another good one. So this one was more focused on Jesse, who looks like the guy from Yellowstone. He's getting married to Allie, his high school sweetheart.
First of all, I just have to tell you something.
Okay.
I thought Jesse was like this really good guy. And when we were on our Zoom last month and somebody said to me, B, don't be naive. Jesse's just like his brothers. He just hides it better for the cameras. I'm like, ugh.
So he starts to have this panic attack, having second thoughts about the wedding, which I can imagine. Like, put yourself in his shoes. He's been with her since he was, 14?
Mhm.
And he's 30 or 16, something like that. One of those two. But literally,
Where I'm from, they call that shit or get off the pot.
yeah, but like I have my own opinions about like marriage and stuff, but I really truly believe like people should have many relationships and have a fun 20s and like do a lot of date multiple people so you can start to understand better what you like in a relationship dynamic, because he's always going to have that feeling, right? Where he's always going to wonder if he should have dated more. And so it's an understandable feeling, but this is a week before the wedding. So it's rough timing.
Yeah.
And he says on the show their mom and dad fought all the time and that he didn't see a lot of joy in their relationship. So he does end up talking to Allie about it and says, he feels like he's living a double life because everybody has this image of him and then they're perfect, the perfect relationship. So we do know that they did end up getting married, but
And they had a daughter.
And yeah, I guess in April, assuming that what Jesse said was truly the way he was feeling and not made up for TV, do you think, seeing what he was saying, just taking that at face value, what he's saying on camera, do you think they should have gone through with it? If somebody told you they were having these thoughts a week before their wedding, what would you say to them?
I would probably walk, but that's just, listen, if your spouse, your partner isn't your biggest fan, to me, I wouldn't be okay with that. And I think that everybody's different and people have different expectations, but I have very high expectations of who I would share my life with. And so like, if you're not all in, then just get out.
Yeah, because if you're having doubts now, there is so much else that hits people, like just.
And like maybe if she said that, okay, of course. And everyone's like, oh my God, but a week before the wedding, it would be so hard. Obviously, it would be heartbreaking.
Yeah.
But you know what? If it's meant to be, he'll come back in a couple months or 6 months and be like, okay, I was wrong. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I agree. I think you need to be absolutely sure going into that situation.
Because I think there's a difference between someone choosing you and someone being scared that they're not going to find better.
Or scared.
That's really what it is, right?
Yeah.
They're like, I love her, but is there better out there for me? And like, so if you feel that way, if you think you can do better, by all means, go do better.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Cole, whose girlfriend Casey is pregnant, goes engagement ring shopping with his mom for Casey. But then after Casey tells him she doesn't want to rush into marriage, even though they're about to have, given his behavior in the last couple of seasons, I think that's about the smartest thing I've heard Casey say. And I did actually try to do some looking and to see if they're engaged. And if they are, the internet does not know about it yet because I couldn't find anything about it.
I'm happy to see Casey have this epiphany because I think she was so focused on that marriage. And listen, you have a child with somebody, you're tied to them for the rest of your life, but that doesn't mean you have to be married to them.
Right.
So I think it's very smart of her. And I also think it's good for Cole to see exactly that. Like, you thought it was a lock because she's having your child, but guess what?
Yeah.
Women can have children with somebody and move on and have beautiful marriages and relationships and co-parent. So, Cole, if you want to marry Casey, her having your child, she's not just going to put up with all of your shit for that reason. And I commend her for choosing herself and her daughter.
I agree. I completely agree.
Oh, I got a little RHONJ tea.
Oh.
So I saw it circulating around. I think Page Six had it and other people picked it up that Martha Stewart's longtime makeup artist, her name is Nicole Daisy. I forget her last name. Beautiful girl. So it was going around that she's of interest to join RHONJ. So I had actually somebody who I know like in my real life. Listen, guys, I live in New York. So like RHONJ, what I could get stuff on RHONJ, like really. And they said that she's in the mix. So it's not clear about test filming, if that's started or if it's fully cast. I'm hoping that in the fall, everything's ironed out and cameras go up. But I haven't heard that that's the case. I just want to be completely transparent. As far as I know, they're still, if not actively looking, focusing on their short list and figuring out who they're going to pick. They really want to get it right. But Martha Stewart's makeup artist is in the mix. What do you think like Martha Stewart would think about that? You think she'd be like, yeah, girl? Or like, if you go on that show, you're no longer my makeup artist?
Oh, I mean, unless it's like a scheduling issue, I don't see why Martha would care. I think
Sure it's just signed an NDA to not discuss.
Of course. That's exactly what I was just gonna say. I'm sure she's under an NDA. You don't have there's no way. I mean, Martha is a smart businesswoman, as we all know. So I don't see that there's really much of a downside for that. So I don't know. I mean, she looks beautiful. I saw that picture of them doing, I think, Pilates. Her
Yeah, it's just hanging with size, so it's not total nonsense.
Yeah. So, I mean, we'll see. And, I was thinking about the timing. I can't imagine anything is starting up now until at least mid-September at the very earliest, because some people are still at their summer homes, and then like school's got to get started. And that's such a hectic time. I can't see anybody like an Erin being like, sure, let's start right before school starts. Cause you and I both know what else just wildly crazy time of year that is. So
I'm in complete denial about school starting. I have not even bought school supplies.
Amazon.
Oh, yeah. Which my daughter every day is like, we don't have any school supplies. I'm like, girl, it's going to take 24 hours to get here once I order.
I know.
I don't want to look at folders yet. Okay.
I agree. Like, just have your vacation. We also saw Sonia, Luann, Jill, and Kelly Ben Simone. I recognize in the background, they're outside and there's that little mill. It looks like a little windmill in the background that I recognize, but I don't. So one of you guys will have to tell us like what town that is, but I've definitely seen it. I think it's somewhere in like out east.
100. They have them in like a few spots. It's definitely a Hamptons classic, right?
Yeah.
And they are so pretty. I actually hear that they are trying to get something going. I have not heard that it's Bravo. The thing with me is like Luann is still on the Bravo dole. The rest of them really aren't, but Luann isn't in an active contract. The OGs are hanging out. Most of them, if they don't have a place in the Hamptons, they stay in the Hamptons. Same goes for Florida. Let's see where it
No,
goes.
no Ramona.
No, Ramona, which actually makes it more believable because Ramona, and like people could be like, oh, nobody wants Ramona. And that may be true. But Ramona doesn't have interest. And she was very transparent. She was like, I really enjoyed my time as a reality star, but I'm living a nice life. She's dating a gentleman. She's very happy. So I think that's her choice to like just be done.
And I listened to a clip of Luann. I think it was Page Six podcast. I apologize if I got that source wrong because you know how it is when you're on social media seeing clips from podcasts. But Luann went into more detail about the trip from hell to Cartagena, Colombia. And like, because we knew Ramona pooped on the floor, but I guess they all got like so sick, like multiple women like pooped the bed. Were like all like that Sonia ended up having to wear diapers for a while, which I had heard that, but it, and that like they really did feel like they came close to death on that boat ride. I mean, it's interesting to hear that a little bit further down the road because it did seem when you watched the show, it did seem like they were being maybe overly dramatic on that boat, but it sounds like it really was that scary.
Oh, yes. You know, me and my fears, I always understood the gravity. I thought, Jesus, these poor women.
Yeah. So I wanted to ask you what you're hearing about Jersey because Teddy and Dolores actually shouted us out for the first time ever on.
I love Teddy because Teddy often like cites us.
Oh, she does? Oh, I need to listen
Teddy,
more then.
Teddy and Tamara on the two T's have. Yes, we've mentioned it before many times. They're like over on cocktails. Yes.
No, I always like Teddy.
Yes.
Thank you, Teddy.
Thank you. And so regarding our post and also what we've said on the pod, that Dolores, Melissa, and Marge are the three who will likely be back. And Dolores said, oh God, what is Bravo and Cocktail saying now? They always get us in trouble.
I need to go back and clip that.
Yeah,
they can post that on our site. That is,
it's right at it's like right after the ads. It's like right at the top of their pod. So so this is what I was hearing, and then I got an email which pretty much confirmed it. So what I was hearing was all North Jersey. The new women are all North Jersey. We know that's where Melissa, Margaret, and Dolores live. I do hear, okay, there's a very good possibility that Teresa will film with Dolores. They will cut her a big check to show up because picture it. I'm watching the trailer and all of a sudden Teresa's walking into a lunch with Dolores.
Yeah.
When we heard she wasn't back, it could end up being a more expanded role. I think there's a lot of ways they could go about it. So I heard this from someone reliable, and then we got this email yesterday. So
okay, I'll read it. It says, subject, it's coming. Just got word that Teresa Giudice, Melissa Gorga, Dolores Catania, and Margaret Josephs have officially been tapped to film test scenes with a batch of potential new housewives in the next few weeks. Producers are setting up one-on-one or small group shoot sections. Think pairings like Dolores and Margaret, Dolores and Melissa, Margaret and Melissa, and Teresa and Dolores. With potential newbies mostly locked in, it's now all about capturing some compelling footage, watching the chemistry, and deciding which pairings or singles stand out. The plan is to unveil the returning vets at BravoCon in November, but it's unclear if the newbies will be revealed alongside them. Production aims to revive the beloved schedule in New Jersey, diving into Halloween, holiday, and seasonal festive scenes, which I love, by the way, which is perfect timing giving the show that classic Jersey charm. As previously reported, not all four vets could make the final cut. There's a real chance that one or two vets may be sidelined depending on how the pairings play out. Notably, Jen Fessler and Jackie Goldschneider have yet to be invited to film, though they could easily be slotted in last minute if producers decide to bring one or both back into the mix. Of the two, execs are leaning more towards Jen Fessler at this time. Thank God.
Yes, this all makes so much sense. I think they're really test filming. And they're really seeing what they can make happen. I am a person who, and a lot of people disagree with me, I want to see Teresa. Like, I Teresa's Jersey, and I don't know if we want to see, you know what I'm talking about, but I do want
Yeah.
to see her. And so, like, her at lunch with Dolores or her popping in, kind of how Vicky did when she first
Yeah.
left, I think it makes total sense. Give us a scene where her and Melissa have to have a little conversation. Pay those women and give us that. And even if it's just like, they're not going to make up, right? But maybe a put our swords down kind of thing.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think there is a lot of room, especially with the infusion of new girls. So we're talking holiday times, right? So I'm picturing these 3 new people, because I know it's 3 people filming. I'm picturing them having cute young families. I'm picturing them bringing that what Melissa and Teresa used to give us, right? The Halloween costumes, the big dinner on Christmas, and of course the Gorgas can give that to us and everything. But the little kids is a great piece of it. And then you have the older people, like now Melissa's one of them. Margaret, obviously. Oh, Margaret never brought the young kid vibe, nor did Dolores, because when Dolores finally joined, her kids were teenagers, so we never got that. And guys, we're only a couple of years out from Dolo being a grandma. Frankie's getting married. I'm sure Gabby will be getting married. So let's go. And I also think that as we go, when Gia has a baby, Teresa's going to be able to secure a show, because I can tell you we all want to see Teresa in her GILF era.
Yeah, I agree with you to a point. I'm totally cool. I would like to see Teresa in the ways that you suggested, like more of a cameo situation. I don't want to see the darkness. I don't want to see all the off-screen just dirty play, playing dirty. I don't want that anymore.
Right.
So if that becomes part of the show, then I'm like, haven't we learned our lesson? I did see that Margaret posted a picture, something saying like, I'm back or we're back. So this was all.
Yes, the witch is back.
The witch is back. That's right. And she's got the picture of the Wicked West in the back.
And I saw, I forget, maybe it was Larry. I forget. Reposted it and was like, either, or maybe it was Christian Grey Snow, either Margaret's a huge Wicked fan or she's test filming.
Yeah. I mean, Wicked doesn't come out for another few months, guys. So I think we're pretty clear. We also got some intel on the Southern Charm Boys. So I was hoping you could share that with us.
So this was fun. I love nothing quite as much as waking up on the day we're recording with some fresh intel. So one of my followers, and those of you guys who I chat with on Instagram, like, we know each other. We've never met, but we know each other. So one of my followers who is just a super cool, I mean, we have so many cool, all of our people are cool, but like, she's like in the mix. She knows things. She knows people. I've gotten tea from her about like so many different things, because all roads lead to Bravo. And when you're a woman about town, you hear things.
Yeah.
So she said to me, she's like, B, have you heard about Shep, Whitney, and Austin's new show? I'm like, come again? What? Mm-hmm. So she said she's friends with one of their friends. And this person told her that Shep, Whitney, and Austin are going to Europe this summer. It's not for Southern Charm. She's not exactly clear, but they have a production crew with them as they travel around. So let's keep our eyes peeled, because in a week or so, if the 3 of them are in Europe, we know that we're on the money. Apparently, London is the first of their spots. I did reach out to some sources to see if I could get any word if anything has been greenlit. And I was told that they do know that they were filming their travels, but they didn't hear that anything was greenlit. So Whitney could very possibly be paying for a production crew to do some sort of spinoff, is like what I'm hearing, right? Because Bravo, it's not officially on Bravo's docket right now, which doesn't mean that if they come with something good, we're not going to see it.
Well, that's how Southern Charm started, right? Yeah. Is Whitney in a producer role said, we got to get cameras on these people. So,
and like, I can't imagine that if this is happening, Craig isn't in the mix. So let's see who's in Europe.
Yeah.
Next week or so.
It's helpful to know that too, because now we can kind of really look at their pictures and see if we can tell if they're in the same environment. Cocktailers will be on it.
Also, this came across my feed yesterday from TV Deets. There was an article written about the show. What the heck's the name of the show? The Weakest Celebrity or something?
Oh, the weakest link, the celebrity version. Yes,
So
I saw that too.
they're doing a Housewives episode, and there's an article written that TV Deets posted and I reposted. So as part of this show, they're going to have Cynthia Bailey, Tamar Braxton, Kate Gosling, Vicky Gumbelson, Dorinda Medley, Shanna Mokler, Kendra Wilkinson, and Jill Zarin. And it's going to be called the Ex-Wives Club. So, like, obviously not all of them are housewives, but they all have been on reality television in the capacity of, you know.
Yes. I used to like that show. It used to be on, like, The Weakest Link used to be on primetime TV.
Is this the Weakest Link with Regis Philbin? Like the question?
Yeah, I remember it being, no, you're thinking of Who Wants to Be a Millionaire or whatever.
I know that's
Just slightly the really mean lady. She would be like, you are the weakest link.
Oh, yeah.
Goodbye.
Yes.
I remember her
Yes.
with the glasses. I don't remember her name. But yeah, that'll be fun to watch. I love a good game show. I think I told you. Did I tell you that I tried out to be on Wheel of Fortune?
Please do tell me this.
It was during COVID. I was bored as heck. I was watching it with my kids. They're like, Mom, you should do it. And then so I went on the site and they actually had a thing like submit a video. And it was like, do it with your best friend. And so I call my like childhood best friend and said, would you want to do this with me? And so like I did the video and I think we weren't together because it was obviously COVID.
Right.
So I think that's why we didn't go on. But my son also, because I like to like turn on Wheel of Fortune like while I'm cooking or whatever. And my son's like, he's like, if you ever try out for that show again, he's like, you have to act dumber, Mom, because he's like, all the people on this show, it's like he's like, you can tell they're way smarter than they act. And I was like, that's a good point. I'll throw, like a pronunciation or something in there if I try out again.
I love Wheel of Fortune because it's a game show where I actually get things right.
Yes.
As opposed to Jeopardy, which my nerd husband gets everything right. And my father tried out for Jeopardy. My father has many, many years ago. And my father is super shy and like really clammed up and was not on it. But he is a wealth of useless knowledge. And I don't know. And I think it's a lost thing. And I know we all read on our phones, but my father still gets every newspaper in print. He's like a newspaper fanatic. And I just think like, do you feel that? Like, and I use the Kindle, right?
Mm-hmm.
But like, if I'm going on vacation, I like to buy a paper book. Like there's something about good old paper to read off of, right? It almost sinks into my brain better.
I see. I love my Kindle just because this is me going into full nerd mode, but quite a long time ago, after the first season of Game of Thrones, could not tell anybody. I didn't know who anybody was. Like I couldn't keep everybody straight because they all had like dark hair and beards and accents and whatever. So I was like, I'm just going to read the book. And like, if you get one of those those books are like 4 or 5 inches thick. And that's when I was like, maybe I should get it. Cause like, when you're like laying down reading or whatever, I'm like, this is like, and it was like kept falling down. And so now I'm a straight up Kindle convert. I don't buy paper books anymore. I just take my Kindle everywhere I go.
Well, and it makes things so much easier. Do you know what I want to read? Because you know me and my Gilded Age obsession. The Vanderbilt book, I forgot the name of it. I know you guys are I need to Google it because I did not bring my Kindle and I could not find it in the airport because it's not like a recent, I think Anderson Cooper wrote it or with someone wrote it. I don't know, but
yeah,
I need all the Gilded Age scoop. And I also, when thinking of RHONY, wonder if the OGs, because like I made that meme jokingly, the RHONY origin story about the Gilded Age. And I'm like, I think stars are aligning. Like, I don't know if it'll be Bravo, but why doesn't Peacock pick up a 6-episode stint of those wackos?
I completely agree. You should also watch, I think I told you guys this. I've been watching The Buccaneers, which is on Apple TV. So Edith Wharton wrote the book, The Buccaneers, which was essentially about these rich American heiresses who started going over more to England, but Europe, I think in general, but to marry people with titles. And the people with titles were people who maybe their house was floundering and they couldn't, keep up with anything. So they were looking to meet rich Americans. So I've been like, there's a little bit of sex. So I just kind of fast forward to that because I'm watching it with my daughter. So I think you'll like it. It's Gilded Age is much higher brow. I think the Buccaneers might be made for more of a audience, but it's really good. And my daughter and I just finished the first season. Its second season, I think, is fully out or coming out, or it's been coming out maybe week by week. I don't know exactly yet, but the second season has started on Apple TV. So
I love it. I know that's on my list.
It's good. It's really good.
We love you guys. And let's see what comes in. I don't know. I'm September, we always get like a rush of stuff. Everyone gets back from summer vacation. So
yeah.
Well, let's see.
And meanwhile, enjoy these last couple of weeks of summer, everybody.
Yes. Love you guys. Till next time.
Bye.
What's up, cocktailers? We want to thank you, as always, for listening to Cocktails and Gossip. Because of you, we've hit some amazing milestones, had some hilarious conversations, and have grown a truly amazing community. If you haven't already followed our podcast, hit the follow button in the top right of your Apple Podcast player, the follow button under the show logo on Spotify, or the subscribe button on Google Podcasts. We thrive on you, our audience. So make sure to tell all your gossip-loving friends about us too. And if you want to get all the tea, join our membership cocktail party by going to bravoandcocktails.com/join. Our members get access to the exclusive tea we post, the weekly podcast without ads, plus another additional bonus podcast every week. And of course, members also get to join us on our monthly live cocktail party Zoom, where we talk about the latest tea and even share tea that's just too hot to put in writing. Last, but maybe best, our members get access to the Cocktail Party Discord, where you can chat with Amanda, me, and all of the other cocktailers as well. There are always some great combos and hilarious comments happening in Discord. Thank you guys so much for listening. We appreciate you.